How's it going, everybody? Thanks for stopping in. This is going to be a quick, no-nonsense video showing you how to make a knife sheath. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. Starting with the design process, we need to get a good outline of the knife we're going to be working with. We especially want to make sure that we get an accurate outline of the blade, so what I normally do is fold over a piece of paper, put a block of wood underneath it, and that makes a solid contact between the blade and the paper so that I can get a nice, clean outline. With the outline of the blade taken care of, we just have to unfold the paper and then continue to trace the outline of the handle. Once we have a good, clean outline of the knife, we can start work on the outline of the sheath itself. As you can see, I take a measuring device and I measure either 5mm or 3/16 away from several points on the blade and then connect the dots together to make my outline. It's important to get the outline around the blade specifically to be particularly accurate because that's where the stitching will go, and if it's too thin, it will be too weak, and if it's too thick, you risk wasting too much material and making a big clunky sheath. The outline around the handle should flow from the outline around the blade, just following the form of the handle itself to make a nice, neat, clean looking sheath. Right, so we've lined out the basic profile of our sheath, but how exactly are we going to cut the leather pieces? Well, obviously, in order for the sheath to function, we need to have a piece of leather on both sides of the blade to protect it. However, if we just do this and stitch the edges along, the blade will have access to cut that thread and will over time. So not only are we going to need the back piece and the front piece of the leather sheath, we're also going to need something in between to fill that gap so that the blade will come in contact with a solid piece of leather rather than just the stitching holding the two sides together. Now, if we stick with that concept and we just use a back piece, top piece, and a piece in between, we will have a functional knife sheath, but it obviously won't have a belt loop. So if you want a really sturdy belt loop for your knife sheath, one of the best ways to go about it is to take the entire profile of the knife sheath and mirror it so that whenever you cut that long piece of leather out, you can simply fold it over, stitch it to itself over here, and you'll have a belt loop over here. So with that basic concept in mind, we're going to need one big piece for the back/belt loop. We're going to need the middle piece that's going to protect the threads from the blade. And of course, we're going to need the top piece to finish everything off. So let's go ahead and cut out our outline design as our template, and then trace around it on our chosen piece of leather, flipping it over on its end so that whenever the piece is cut out, it will fold over and have the same profile that we want for our sheath. Now, something that you can't see very clearly in this video, but is very important to point out, is the fact that I cut this piece out of leather that is much thinner than the rest of the sheath. The reason we do this is because the knife sheath itself is already going to be thick enough just due to the thickness of the blade it's trying to protect. And by using this design of a belt loop, we're essentially adding 2 more layers. So if we can make those extra layers as thin as we can without making it too weak, that's what we're going to try to do. Once we have that belt loop piece cut out, we can cut off the blade part of our template and use it as an outline to cut the front piece of the sheath. When it comes to cutting out the middle piece, we need to keep in mind that it needs to be the same thickness as the blade. So if you have a thicker blade like this one is, you might actually have to cut 2 middle pieces to make up the difference. To get those pieces as accurate as possible, I like to trace around the outline of the front piece that we already cut, and then cut the template's edge off and mark around the inside to get the 2 middle pieces that we need. Now, something worthy of mentioning is that if your knife has a bigger guard like this one does, you need to cut a spacer piece that will compensate for the distance between the blade and the back belt loop piece. Right, so we have all the pieces of the sheath cut, but we can't quite stitch them up together just yet. I mean, if you wanted to, there's nothing wrong with that, and it would still work as a sheath, but I like to have a little bit of extra assurance that my knife isn't gonna go sliding out, so it's time to talk about hardware. Now, there are tons of different types of hardware, and there are tons of different uses for them. It can be super complicated or super simple. Just for the sake of making this a simple, easy to follow tutorial, all I'm going to be using is this leather stud right here and a simple leather rivet. Here's the basic concept. You have the knife in the sheath and want to keep it from sliding out on its own. So what we're gonna wanna do is take some sort of leather strap, stick it behind, wrap it around the guard, and clip it to the front. Some people like to use the method where you would simply rivet on one side of a snap to this piece and the other side of the snap to the leather strap so that it would click together, just the basic simple leather snap. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. However, I prefer to use these leather studs because it is much simpler to use and I think that it looks a little bit better. The way this stud will work is by simply riveting it to this front piece and cutting a hole in the strap. The hole will go around this and catch on, and it makes it a lot easier to get on and off than the traditional leather snap. So with the basic concept understood, let's go ahead and do it. So now we have all the pieces laid out, we have the holes for the hardware, and we're ready to start dyeing, but we're gonna start with this piece because we need to give it some special attention. Using these metal tools that have little patterns on the end, some standard light brown leather dye, and a dauber to apply it, I'm going to slowly apply the leather dye to the leather, which makes it softer so I can take the metal tool and hammer it in to leave an imprint in a process known as leather tooling. This is entirely just for aesthetics, so it comes down to your personal preferences. You can make whatever complicated or simple design you want. In this case, as you can see, I'm going with a simple outline around the inside edge. Once we're satisfied with how the tooling looks, we can go ahead and finish dyeing up this front piece, and then just continue on to the rest of the pieces, making sure that we cover them very thoroughly with the dye. And once everything has had plenty of time to dry out, we can start installing the hardware. Installing a leather rivet like this is actually really simple. The most important thing is to make sure that everything is oriented correctly. It's easier than you might think to accidentally rivet the strap to the wrong side of the leather or something like that, so just make sure you're paying attention. Installing the leather stud on the front piece is also very easy. All you need is one of these little sunk in anvils that the stud will kind of sit down into, and then you put the pin in from the other side and hammer everything together. Sorry, there's no focus on this piece because the first part where I manually changed the focus. And that's all there really is to it. Super simple and easy to install, but these two little things will just make everything that much more secure. And with that taken care of, it's time to actually start putting this thing together. I use this simple leather and suede glue. It works for me. And first I prep the surfaces with a wire brush to make sure they're nice and roughed up so that the glue will sink in nice. And then it's just a matter of applying a decent coat of glue and sticking everything together. I'm going to assemble the parts surrounding the blade first so that I will have the completed sheath and make sure that everything is properly lined up and adhered together before I actually put it on the belt loop. Basically, we want to make sure that the sheath will actually work first, that it will properly cover and protect the blade, and once we have it the way we want it to be, then we can attach it to the big back piece, and that way we don't risk messing up that big piece of leather and the time, effort, and hardware that we put into it. Once the glue has had plenty of time to dry, we need to clean up these rough edges. I use a belt sander with the very rough grit belt on it to slowly grind away these rough edges and make everything as smooth as possible. Once that's done, I can take a look at the edge and make sure there's no recessed areas or any protrusions where they shouldn't be. If everything's good to go, then I can move on with gluing the rest of the sheath together. Right, so we let this thing sit overnight, let the glue get nice and cured, so this now is a sheath. I can put the knife in it and everything's fine. But obviously we're not done yet, we still need to take care of the stitching. If we want our stitching to look nice and precise, we're going to need to clean up these edges first, make sure that they are nice and uniform and equally distanced away from this tooling on the front. So it's back over to the belt sander to make sure that all the edges are nice and clean, and we're just doing the same thing we did before, only with more refinement because this will be the finished product. Now that we have a nice, clean, uniform edge to work with, we're almost ready to start stitching. And so far, I've kept this tutorial as quick and to the point as possible, but it's necessary to take a quick detour and talk about leatherworking tools. Up to this point, I haven't really used any specific leatherworking tools, except for this hole punch, which you could just use a drill, and these little leather tooling devices, which is more of a preferential thing. Generally speaking, I don't like to point to specific tools in my videos because I don't want you to think that you need to have exactly what tools or equipment this YouTuber has in order to make whatever they're making. What I find is way more helpful is developing a mindset of what can I do with what I have right now. Even if it means doing it in a slightly different way, as long as it accomplishes the same thing, you're good to go. And that helps me save up my money to actually be able to afford the more specialty equipment that I need to really save a lot of time or do something very specific that's hard to do with other things. Keeping all that in mind, if you're just going to make one sheath for one knife and that's it, there's no need to run out and buy a whole bunch of tools because you'll end up spending way more money than what it's worth. However, if you're planning on doing this as a long-term hobby and you're going to be making several knife sheaths, these right here are really useful tools that can really speed up the process and save you a lot of time. So I'm going to give you a quick look at what I consider to be some of the most helpful tools as I use them to help finish up this sheath and make it look just that much better. Starting with this tool right here, this is a simple groover. By loosening and tightening this thing back here, you can move this slider back and forth to set exactly how far from the edge you want your stitching groove to be. Once you have it set the way you want it, you make sure it's good and tight. You catch this little metal piece on the edge of the sheath, you press firmly and drag this along the edge. This will make a nice, clean, uniform groove. Once we have a clean stitching groove on the front, all we have to do is flip the sheath over, keep the same setting, and we can replicate the same exact groove on the back using the same process. So what we have now is a nice clean stitching groove on the front and on the back, but we don't know exactly where we need to drill the holes to be able to stitch. So this right here is a stitch marker that simply has a metal wheel with pointy bits on it that will uniformly mark out exactly where the holes need to go. In order to get very clean marks from this tool, we need to wet the leather in order for it to really sink in. And given that we just scarred the top of the leather, making it lighter, we're going to get two birds stoned at once and apply some more dye in the groove to both make it wet and make it match the rest of the sheath. Once we've applied the dye, we hold the tool back here, press firmly, and make our way down this groove. And as you can see, this tool marks very clearly where we need to make each hole for the stitching. When it comes to actually drilling those holes, you want to make sure that the sheath is as level as possible. So since there's this strap on the back of it, I use this other piece of leather to compensate, to make it nice and flat. And then obviously you want to just make sure that the drill bit is going to be roughly the same size as the needle you'll be using to stitch. But that's about it whenever it comes to drilling these holes. Just take it slow, make sure that you're doing them as precise as possible, and everything should be fine. Once you have all the holes drilled, you can move right on into stitching. The best stitching that I've found is this waxed leather thread because it actually prevents water from soaking down into those holes and deteriorating the sheath over time. For a sheath of this size, I've found that I typically need about 4 to 5 feet, so go ahead and cut that length of thread, feed it through your needle, and then twist it around on itself to prevent it from being pulled back through that needle very easily. To begin stitching, push the needle through one of the holes from the back side of the sheath to the front side of the sheath so that the tail of the thread is going to be left on the back side. Now from the front, you're going to go one hole over and push through to the back side. Now we repeat the same exact thing, so go through the first hole again, through the second hole again, and that makes for a double stitched section that will prevent your thread from pulling out as you stitch the rest of the holes. Once this is done, you should have a 2 to 3 inch tail of the thread sticking out, and we'll get back to that later. But now that we have the initial double thread taken care of, we're going to continue stitching the rest of the sheath. We're going to follow the line one hole at a time all the way around the sheath then simply double back on ourselves and follow the opposite holes to make our way all the way back around the sheath to where we started. Once you finish that, you can take care of the loose ends by trimming them down to about 1/2 inch. Then hold a lighter to those little ends until they begin to melt, and then take something solid and smush them down nice and easy. With the stitching taken care of, everything is secure enough to finally finish up this little strap. All we have to do is pull that strap really tight and press down on that leather stud so that it makes a little bit of a mark so that we know where to drill the hole. With that being done, we know where the end of the strap needs to be so we can trim off any excess and make everything look nice and neat. Okay, so we have the sheath fully built and it's functional, but now it's time for the finishing touches to smooth everything off and make it look really nice. As you can see, cleaning up the edges right here has left the light part of the leather exposed, so we're going to be going back over this with some dye and burnishing the edges so that it's nice and smooth and a little more water resistant than it would be otherwise. If you happen to have one of these little burnishing tools, that's great. If not, you can use a piece of antler or actually just any other little wooden dowel as long as it's smooth. What we're going to be doing is taking the leather dye and we're going to be applying it to all of the edges and then scrubbing those edges with this tool. What that's going to do is not only blend everything together as far as the dye is concerned, but also while the leather grain is wet, we're pressing all those particles together, making a nice smooth edge that is actually fairly waterproof, tougher, and keeps everything sealed in nice and tight. Given that I have access to buffing machines, that's the process that y'all will see me using today. It's still the same thing. I apply the dye to the edges and then just simply buff them down with a machine rather than by hand. And just like that, here we have it. It's a nice, clean looking sheath, so let's take a good look at it. Well, there you have it. Hopefully you found this a helpful tutorial. I know that there are plenty of different ways to go about making knife sheaths, and this is just one of them. But, I mean, it's what's worked for me so far, and as you can see, it yields a pretty good result. As someone who has personally spent entirely too long watching tutorial videos whenever I just want to get to what I'm trying to learn how to do, I like to keep my tutorials as quick and to the point as possible, but obviously that means that there are tons of little details and techniques that I have to end up leaving out. So let me know in the comments below, do you like this type of tutorial? Do you want more of them? Or would you like more detail, in-depth tutorials? Or maybe a little bit of both? Let me know in the comments below. But that about does it for this one. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, other than that, just have a wonderful day. I hope you have a good day. Have a good day. Bye now.